All right, guys, it's time we have a talk. And I've been wanting to make this video for so long, but I've been trying to make it to a point where it makes sense to everyone. Um, Full disclosure, I work in an industry, I work in a bike shop, and I sell bicycles. But I made this YouTube channel mainly just to show off products, to give consumers a great POV of what a bike looks like outside, a weight of it, and what my perspective is on that bike. When I say these prices out loud and I say that's a good deal or this bike only goes for this much, I get this comment so much that they say like, "Oh, he's out of touch," or "That's so expensive," yada yada yada. Which I'll show you guys some of your comments you guys say. But you have to think of this. This is a hobby, and just like every hobby out uh, there are enthusiast sides of things. There are expensive options of those things. So the bikes I mainly focus on this channel or cover on this channel are majority high-end bikes because I enjoy new tech. I am very passionate about new tech. I've worked in the industry, like I said, so anything that new comes out, I want to bring to you guys' attention. I want to show you guys it. And yes, prices go up, inflation goes up, just everything goes up day-to-day life. I hate the comment I see the most saying, my bike was a 2009 and it weighs this much and it's so much lighter than this. There's so many things wrong with that comment. It's like literally like people saying back in my day a Coke used to cost a quarter. Cost of everything goes up, cost of living goes up. I know it's crazy what these bikes cost nowadays, but I'm gonna give you guys some piece of knowledge of what bikes used to cost. I don't know if you guys are new to the industry, but I've been doing this for a while, almost about 10, 12 years of cycling. I'm gonna show you guys some of the bike prices back then, and also we're gonna go over a couple different price points. Do these bikes sell? Who buys these bikes? Um, give you guys kind of point of view of the comments I get in the comment section. I'm gonna compare this hobby to other things in life, so that way you guys kind of get a real life grasp. Um, and then also what's the fix for it. So hopefully you guys enjoy. But as you guys can see, these are some of the bikes I usually always talk about. The Cervelo S5 retails for 13,000. The new Trek Madonna just dropped retails for 13,000. Specialized Tarmac SL7 goes for 14,000. The Pinarello Dogma F goes for 16,000. The Giant TCR goes for 12,000. Yada yada yada. These are all super bikes. What I mean by that is that this is the toppest tier. Let me fucking zoom in my face so you guys understand this. These are the top tier. These are what the U.S. Olympian athletes, or these are what Olympian athletes are riding for gold medalists. These are what professional riders are riding on to pay for their family, to their livelihood or whatever. They're racing on these bikes. These are what like full on top tier of what the industry has. This is what they're giving to consumer. So it's not expected that everyone can afford these. All right. So there are lower tier options of what they're going to be. I myself cannot afford these bikes as well. Would I want one? Yes. Would I splurge on it if I had the money? 1,000% yes. If it was a drop in the bucket, for sure. But it's not for me. Okay. So get that through your head. These are the most expensive of the expensive. That's like you going into a Ferrari dealership and be like, it's like you being a car enthusiast, but walk into a Ferrari dealership and be like, just like looking at the salesman and be like, that's expensive. And he's like, yeah, I know it's expensive. It's a really nice, it's the nicest car they make of this model. And you just be like, yeah, that's really expensive. Back in the day, that wasn't that expensive. The guys would be like, yeah, that I know, it wasn't that expensive. Like that's what it is. But anyways, this is what started off the whole situation. Right here. Let me see if I can zoom in on this too. A nice comment from the Giant TCR. It says, "Hey GC, great content as usual. Number of comments on this video as well as some of other deals with the cost of these bikes these days. And I was wondering from your perspective as a dealer." my reading's so bad, I'm sorry. "Do you see a lot of these high-end 12,000 bikes being sold? Just wondering what the average price point and type of these bikes being sold most." So, in my occasion, yes, because of where my store is located at. In retail, I'm in South Florida, right next to Miami. I'm actually in Boca Raton as well, which is a pretty high income area. We do sell a lot of these bikes. Now, it's not just, I don't know if it's something after COVID happened, but it seemed like after COVID, all the people who wanted to get into road cycling bought a entry level bike, and all the people who had an entry level bike bought a mid tier to top tier bike, and they really just splurged because there's nothing to do there in time. I don't see as many consumers walking into my store as before. They used to buy a entry level bike. It seems like there's so many options now, or maybe just used bike market's flooded, or maybe there's so many bike options out there now that it's not as many as there was. I don't know. But now all I'm really seeing is the wants for a mid tier to high tier. I'm talking like 8,000 and up. because of the fact that either people, like I said, either got involved in the sport at that time and they're looking to upgrade, or I don't know. But we do sell not a ton of these bikes, but a good amount of them, and it's crazy because it's either the really really high enthusiasts who enjoy the sport and have a passion for it and race criterium, or just this is like their whole life and they enjoy the exercise of it. They enjoy being healthy. They don't do drugs. They don't drink. They don't have other hobbies. This is what they do, and that's what they want to put their money to. Or on the flip side of it, there's the doctors, the dentists, the lawyers who literally have more money to know what to do with it. They go into a doctor's appointment. They tell them the cholesterol is high. They need to do exercise. They come to my store. They say, hey, I want to put an S-Works bike on top of my Ferrari. Or, hey, I want to put a really nice bike to ride because I need to lose some weight. So I see every kind of flip side of it. So, yes, we do sell a little bit of them. But these are the comments I'm talking about here. Let me pull some of these up. Costas L says, come on, it's overpriced. It's a joke. Industry decides to go disc brakes and was not ready. Just want to push heavier road bikes to people who are extremely overpriced, reasonable weight road bikes. Now, again, for this comment, yes, the bikes have got heavier, but it's just like anything back in the day. Cars used to be lighter. Now they make them heavier. Anything performance that used to be a little bit lighter, now they're making them heavier to increase maybe aerodynamics of them, to increase a bigger motor or whatever it is. I know bikes are a different animal because of the fact that people say that it's a carbon frame, that it's very easy to make. But a lot of these companies put in a lot of research into development of them, and they'll have the design, they'll have the back end of the teams, they'll have the wind tunnels they put in. I'm sure once they get it all down and then once they make the carbon fiber frame for it and they have their own factory, it's probably cheap to make. But going into that and owning that factory and owning all this stuff like that, it costs money to do. And then to supply the customer service and the support to it afterwards, I can understand it. Now, the prices to this date are still super high and it's crazy expensive. But again, if I didn't own a bike shop and I was in the market for a bike, my thoughts wouldn't be on a $14,000 bike. It would probably be in the $2,000 to $4,000 price range because that's what I can afford to splurge on and go for it. So, again, it's I don't know, it's just crazy. Again, another comment is, please don't use the word bicycle at $12,000 and value in the same sentence. We're getting numb seeing bikes at 8, 9, 12, 14,000. These are bicycles. Bicycles. Yes, you got to pay to play, but these prices are too TGD high. So again, this was referring to the Giant TCR video I did that I said that this was their top tier flagship bike, their super bike, a $12,200 bike compared to everyone else in the market that's usually about $13,000 to $14,000. I was saying it was a good value and when I talk in these videos, when I'm talking about a $12,000 bike, I'm talking about relative to the consumer I'm talking to. It's a great deal and it's a great value for that bike because of everything you're getting compared to the market of that. Now, that's what people have to understand. There's obviously cheaper options down the road that you can buy a $2,000 bike, a $3,000 bike, and that could be a great value. You could find a used bike with a really great value, but it's all in retrospect, or it's all in perspective of that consumer looking at that price point of the bike. So that's why I say great value. But people tend to think it like oh, this person must be rich. A great value, that makes no sense. $12,000. It's a great value in terms of those super bikes and what they are. All right, for that current market. We have another comment here. This is a light size, small, but very good for a disc brake model. However, $12,000 nuts. You can buy a Ducati for that. I hate seeing this comment. I see it so much. You could buy a motorbike. You could buy this for it. I don't want a Ducati. I don't want a motorbike. That's like me going to anything high end and looking at my computer and be like, that computer costs you $3,000? That's dumb. I could buy a couch for that and have my family sit on it. Or I could buy an entire year's worth of food for that. If I'm looking at a bike that's $12,000, it's because I'm interested in that bike for $12,000. It does not mean that I'm comparing everything that my $12,000 can get me. I just hate seeing these comments of people like, that's like walking into anywhere and just be like, oh, that my money can get me that for that. Yes, we all know you can take your money and spend it on something different. It doesn't mean that you're losing value on the bike. And also, people always say if you put 12 grand into a bike, you're gonna lose your value right away. People sometimes don't buy things just to buy for investment. People buy things because of the fact that they want to enjoy it and ride it, or enjoy it and makes them happy. It doesn't always have to give you a return on investment on these type of things. It would be nice if it does, but it's like buying a car and driving off the lot. As soon as you drive off that lot, you're not going to get your total value back for that car. It's going to go down in value, and that's what it is. But you buy it because of the fact that it makes you happy. So that's that comment. And then another one, what, 12K, seriously, who the hell is going to buy this bike at that price? Hello, Alibaba, seriously, guys, just repair your bikes. You guys get the gist. You guys can basically go to any kind of one of my videos ever that's a high tier bike and go down the comments. You'll see one of those comments there nonstop. But again, I work in the industry. That's what I sell. I am selling these videos in the fact of going towards that consumer. And I'm trying to relate to someone who's maybe clicked on my video because of the fact that they were looking to buy that bike. And I'm talking, again, relatively to them. So it's good for you guys to enjoy. I don't mind seeing the comment all the time, but you guys literally talk to me. You guys literally just talk to me as if like, you're like, yo, this guy's out of touch. He has no idea what money is. I'm like, no, man. It's just because of the fact that that's what these prices are, and that's what I see. I get shell shocked too if I walk into a gun store or a motorcycle store or an ATV store. I'm like, dude, $12,000 for a wave runner? I'm like, I would never pay that. I would never pay that in my life. Or $20,000 for a wave runner? I would never pay that in my life. But there's obviously enthusiasts out there who go in there all the time, like 20 grand for a wave runner. That ain't bad. That's the newest model. I want that. So it's all relative again. All right, so let me give you guys some examples of what the industry used to be, because I don't know if you guys just were in the industry or maybe like you guys just like forgot like of what prices were. So these bikes, like I said, these are all the super bikes of today, and these are with crazy high inflation too and crazy high supply and demand where people want these bikes. 13,000, 13,000, 14,000, 15,000, whatever it is. This is a bike, and the reason why I use Specialized for reference is because I know the product, I know the line. I know that Trek, Pinarello, Colnago, every other brand were right around this price point as well. So keep this in mind. This is from 2013, okay? Almost 10 years ago, almost a decade ago. I want you to keep that in mind. This is not shell shock for you. The release of the 2013 S-Works Tarmac SO4 with Di2 on it, all right? This one right here has Di2. SO4, 2013. $10,500. Now think about it. What's more expensive? $10,500 in 2013 or $14,000 in 2022? Because of the fact that $10,500 back then was a shit ton of money. And also back in the day, Specialized came out with the McLaren Venge, which is 18 grand, which I had 2 customers buy that. They didn't bat an eye at that. They did have back in the day, they had the mechanical versions of S-Works bikes, but that's from a Shimano or SRAM standpoint of components. They don't make mechanical versions of these bikes and these top tier bikes. And those mechanical versions were $8,500, which was obviously cheaper. But as soon as Di2 started getting offered or entered into this whole market, these bikes took a jump up to like 11 grand. I think like the SL3, the Tarmac SL3 2012 with Di2 was like 11 grand or something like that, which was crazy high of price points. So this has never been a crazy shell shock. I mean, this was 10 years ago. So that's why these prices haven't been that crazy for me to say. The S-Works Venge, when it first got launched with mechanical SRAM Red, I think it was like 8,800, and it was rim brake and that. Now they're making these fully integrated road bikes with hydraulic disc brakes, Bluetooth, electronic, wireless, stuff like that for a couple grand more. It's still crazy amount of money bikes, but it's not anything that's unheard of. I just don't know if people forgot what bikes used to be. Yes, the pros and the experts were much cheaper. That was because the pros and the experts used to be spec'd with alloy rims and mechanical shifting, which was the norm. Now we're seeing the pro, expert, and comp level bikes being spec'd with carbon wheels, wireless components, electronic wireless shifting. So yes, they're going to be a little bit more money. But, and I just pulled this up just because it's super hot. This was a 2012 S-Works Venge Di2, the HTC High Road Edition. But again, this bike was, I think, 11 grand when it came out. Zip 404s, 10-speed Shimano Dura-Ace Di2. But again, $11,000 for this back in the day for 2012. A 10-year-old bike. Okay, so this is not uncommon. So that's why I wanted to make this clear. So before you go on there and start saying these bikes are insanely high, which they are insanely high for today's market, it's not uncommon. Okay? Next thing. Comparison to real life. I want you guys to give you guys a comparison to this. So,
we're having arguments.
All right, so this comment, I get these comments all the time too on brand new bikes. They always reference their older bike, their rim brake bike, how it's lighter or faster, or how they are faster than the people I see riding this 2022 Superbike. I get it. I always say this too as well, even being in the street. What being a fast rider comes down to is your physical fitness, how much time you put in the saddle, and how much work you put into the sport. The bike is definitely a tool to help improve on that, but it comes down to how much that rider rides. If you flat out ride every single day and you're riding a 1999 road bike, and I'm a fat, overweight person who rides a 2022 Specialized S-Works Superbike, you're going to crush me because of the fact that you put in the work, you're physically trained for that, and it makes sense. And people always say, you don't need to buy that $12,000 bike. You could buy a 2006 bike like this, or yada yada yada. You could buy a bike like this or whatever. Let me give you guys a reference. People usually don't buy this stuff just because of the fact they want the best value for it. It's similar to like a Rolex. I use this a lot. I could buy a crappy watch from a gas station for $20 and it could tell me the time. Perfectly fine. Then the same person can go out and buy a $10,000 Rolex or a $20,000 Rolex, and it's going to do the exact same thing. It's going to tell them the time. It's going to have a little bit more bells and whistles on it. It's going to say, hey, you can dive 40 meters or whatever and it won't crack. Just like people say, you can do a bunch of stuff with hydraulic disc brakes on road bikes. They'd be like, you don't need that. It's going to tell you the time. Or another example, wine. I like using this example. You can go ahead and get drunk off a bottle of wine from a gas station, or you can go ahead and pay a really, really expensive amount of money for an old bottle of wine that's super rare, and it's going to get you drunk as well. At the end of the day, you're going to get the same result. But sometimes people like spending their money on something that makes them happy and makes them enjoy it more, and they want to do it. Cars, everything like that. I could buy a $5,000 car, Toyota Corolla, to get me from my job or from my house to my job, and there's going to be speed limit signs that are going to make sure that I follow that speed limit sign to get there at the safe amount of time. So it's going to get to my job just as fast as if I bought a $2,000 Lamborghini. My Lamborghini still has to follow those speed limit signs, even though the engine allows it to go way faster than that. I still have to follow those signs. So why would I pay that much more money for a Lamborghini? Because I like the way it looks. It looks badass. Am I going to use it to its full potential? Hell no. But if I had the money for it, I would splurge on it. Okay? Those are just some real life examples I want to give. People could say, oh, the car is different because it's different, stuff like that and everything like that. At the end of the day, it's getting me from point A to point B, yada, yada, yada. So what is the fix to this? Everyone just says these bikes should be $2,000. Let me ask you guys a question. In a perfect world, would you want all these bikes to be, would you want every single super bike to be $2,000, affordable, so everyone can have one, them all be the same, be made by the same person? Would you want not to have tier of bikes? Would you want everyone riding in the same, like everyone in the group ride just riding all super bikes for $2,000? I don't think so. People enjoy the tier. People enjoy hobbies where you can climb the ladder. You get into the sport, you start off, you enjoy the rise of upgrading, doing these little things to your bike, making your own. But always people just rush to the end game. They try to get so involved into a sport, and they'll go ahead and they'll get lost in what they're doing, and they'll be like, well, I should be able to afford that top tier thing, or I should be. Why is this person this? I think mentally in my head, I've accepted that I'm never going to be able to buy a Ferrari in my life, and I'm okay with that. Same thing with, I don't think I'll ever buy an S-Works. I don't think I'll ever buy an S-Works bike at full retail because I don't think I can afford it unless I get stupid amount of money or I just come into it. Would I want to buy an S-Works bike at full retail if I had the money to splurge on it? Sure. Would I want to buy a Ferrari at retail if I could afford it? Sure. But there's certain things in life that I just come to grip with, and any hobby and anything I do, that I'm like, okay, I'm just not gonna be able to do it. So I don't know what the fix is for. I think that it's like a goal and achievement. You're in a certain price point bracket, you get to buy that item, and then as you work harder, and if you really want that, you work for it, you obtain it, you achieve it, and it becomes that much better when you do get it. Okay. And also the last thing I want to touch on is, like I touched on before, I do sell a lot of these bikes at high value prices. So why doesn't everyone just move to an area where they sell nice bikes? It comes with more stress. It comes with a higher value clientele who wants more attention. You have to pay a lot more money for this inventory to house it. So when we're buying these bikes, It's not like we're buying $2,000 bikes that cost us X amount. We're buying these $13,000 bikes that cost us X amount. We have to house them. We have to put them in inventory. We have to insure them. And then if we don't sell them, we sit on them. So it's not as much as like people just think like, hey, you get these sick bikes in, we get to move them and we get to make a bunch of money. No, it's a lot of stress to it. It's just like anything retail. You buy these things. I might buy this bike right here. Let's just say I buy this S-Works Venge and I order it from my store, but I order a 52 and 54. I get a guy who walks in, he wants his exact bike of a 56. I order the wrong thing. Now I'm sitting on the wrong bike. So COVID definitely changed that where we don't have as much inventory sitting around. But before COVID happened, we were, anyone that walked in the door, we wanted to make a deal. We want to get them on the right bike. But it's always difficult. It's not always as easy as people thinking. You sell these $14,000 bikes, you must make crazy money. The margins aren't what they used to be. Retail isn't what it used to be. There's a lot of risk when selling high retail items like that. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It's a long rant. I know it was. But in conclusion, I just want to say, do what makes you happy. Buy what makes you happy. If you have the money and the means to do it, you only live once. If you're into cycling and you're an enthusiast and it's going to make you ride more, 100%. If it's going to make you ride more, riding's healthy for you. And if you enjoy it more, if you enjoy looking at what you're riding, if you enjoy your bike a lot more, you're going to want to ride it more. So splurge on it. That's fine. That's all I can really say. So in conclusion, like I said, I just want to say, I know these prices are high. I don't ever mean to sound like a dick coming off as like these bikes should be are cheap. I just want to give you guys where I'm coming from. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. It is late at night. I think it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning here. So I will, I will see you guys later. I'm going to catch some Z's and I'll talk to you guys later.